Hey guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things mundane and makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, we are going to do my palette ranking of July. So we have 9 palettes here, which, considering I filmed 2 days in June and didn't post at all, I'm very happy with how much I've done my makeup and the fact that I've used 9 palettes. So let's get into it. I will say, I love all these palettes. They're my palettes, but be looking forward to the palette declutter, which will be at the end of my declutter series. You should be seeing the start of the declutters soon. I've already started filming them, but that is neither here nor there. In number 9, we have one of the newest palettes to my collection. This is the Smashbox Earthy Vibes, which looks like this. So this is number 9 because, it's a gorgeous color story. I do love it. I wish there were more greens, but I do love it. These are very soft. You really have to build up the color, especially in this light green. I had to build up 6 layers to get it to show up this color. This dark green is garbage. It goes on patchy. The neutrals, beautiful. This has no shimmer, sparkle, nothing. It's barely even good as a satin. This is a garbage shade. This is a garbage shade. The neutrals are good. The greens aren't. And that makes me really upset, which is why this is in the number 9 spot. So, and that just goes to show you, even though I got this through Influencer for free, through PR, that you don't have to like everything you get. In spot number 8 is a palette I love. I love all of these palettes. I do like that one. I don't know if it'll be keeping it, but I do like it. Is the Unearthly Don't Be Jelly palette. Now, listen, hear me out. All of the mattes, all 5 mattes, I have in a project, and I'm just getting burnt out on it. And that's why this is ranked so low. I have still never even touched the shimmers in this palette because I have not done a look just using this palette, which I plan to do in August. So in August, this will probably rank much higher, but the month for July, just picking a matte out to help as a companion palette for a look, over it. Just over it. Beautiful palette, but I'm also just over that prompt. I have to use all 5 of those matte shades 5 times, and I hate those prompts. Honestly, in projects going forward, I might just veto those prompts altogether because I'm so sick of them. Because it's just hard for me to do. I want to use other things, do other things. In spot number 7, we have my big old honkin' Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette, which, if you don't know, looks like this. I had this orange in a project, and I'm pretty sure I only dipped into that orange, and the very last look I did a rainbow look. So I used the yellow, the orange, the red, and I think I deepened it with the burgundy. So I only used a couple shades, but I love my Jeffree Star palette, so I do love this palette. The color story on this always gets me. This feels so much like a companion palette for me. It's hard for me to feel like I can do looks with just this palette, but because it was in a project and I only used those couple shades, that's why this is ranking so low. In spot number 6, we have the ColourPop All Amethyst palette, which looks like this. So I need a no pan left behind this, and I've already used all 3 of these mattes, and there's just so much fallout and kick up. These are so powdery, and I've just never really experienced that with a ColourPop palette. Now, I love this shade, but this should be darker. The depth level here is all the same, or this should be so much lighter, because, and this is not a glitter, this really is a sequin shade, but it is very pretty on the eyes. I actually found with this sequin shade, using my finger with it, made it absolutely stunning, but I do think this palette shines in its shimmers, So that's why it's ranking in number 6, because using the mattes upset me. In spot number 5, we have the Glamlight and Icy collab. This is the cherry one, which looks like this. I use this as a companion palette with another palette you'll see coming up. And so I love the mattes in this palette, and I love this white to like pinky red. That's my favorite shade. But the shimmers in here just aren't that shiny. Like, the only really shiny one is this shade, which is Colorful Tongue. But these are just more of like, they're satins, really. And I just wish there was more shine and shimmer to the shimmer shades in this palette, because I feel like Glamlight does a really good job with shimmers. But I love the mattes in this palette, so... But I only used like 2 shades out of that palette because I was using it with another one. So, in spot number 4, we have my ColourPop Strawberry Shake palette. Now, this is not what it originally looks like, and I can't remember what I swapped out of mine, but this is what mine looks like. I had this in a project for No Pan Left Behind, and I completed it this month. And so this is a much better ColourPop formula than the All Amethyst palette. I don't get anywhere as much kick up or fallout. And I really do like ColourPop sequin shades, the mattes with glitter, but I think the shimmers in here are really beautiful. Like I said, I don't remember what I switched out, but I made this palette more cohesive for me, and I just really enjoy it. So, happy to have rolled it out of the project, but gorgeous. In spot number 3, we have my Cara Beauty Summer Days. Take a moment to appreciate the artwork, as always, because it's gorgeous. This is my Level Up Project Pan palette, and the other 2 palettes after this, I like more, is all it is. This is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous formula. I do love it so much. The only shade that I have found in it so far, because I haven't quite used every shade. I think there's 3 shades I have left to use. I do not like this shade Hippie. It just doesn't have as much sparkle as Trippy, and I wish it did because it's warmer, but it's just not as good. Like, I'm never going to reach for that shade because Trippy is gorgeous, but really pretty palette. I like it, obviously. So, for spot number 2, we have What's on My Eyes Today, and that is the Jeffree Star Blue Blood palette. This is my Do Japan My Battleship palette. And this is what it looks like. So, I love Jeffree Star's formula, and I do love the color story on this. The only shades I have left to use now are the neutrals. So, I really do need to do a neutral look with this palette and see how I like that and how it comes out. And I actually used the shade Blue Monday today, which I've always said is my most hated shade because it's compared to every other matte in this palette, the shade Blue Monday is so much more hard-pressed and harder to work with. But I used a different brush. I ended up using this kind of shader brush, which I use all the time for my crease, but I've never used a brush like this for that shade. And I swished it back and forth to get the pigment up, and it worked, and I got some on, like... I didn't hate the shade when I used it today, which is wild for me because I literally avoid that shade like the plague. And last but not least, in spot number 1, the palette I used with the Icy Cherry palette. Probably my favorite Jeffree Star palette. I need to re-rank them since I have more. But this is the Jeffree Star Weirdo palette. I love this so much. The color story is great. The formula is fantastic. I will always say that I don't think we need Freak Show and Weirdo because this is like a deepened blackberry shade. Like there is red to it, but it's so dark that I never find myself using this and the black. I always reach for Freak Show over the black, over Weirdo, but gorgeous, stunning shades. Love this so much. I did a red look, so that's what I used that for. So that is all 9 palettes for the month of July. Very, very happy. I am happy that I actually did some makeup. And I'll be excited to see what August brings. Let me know. Comments, questions down below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.